We continue to move along weather-wise, and we've got another couple of days where we're going to deal with clouds, some sun, some wind, and then we get into the weekend when we can throw in the chance for some showers. Meanwhile, we're warming up here in the deep south, and there's some storminess in the west. So we will break it all down for you tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which you can support if you shop on Amazon. Use our referral link that's on the description of this podcast on YouTube. You just use the link to get you to Amazon, do your shopping. Amazon tosses us some coin for the courtesy, and it doesn't cost you 1 cent out of your own pocket. It keeps the live Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast commercial free. So it's very helpful if you shop on Amazon. We appreciate if you use the referral link. And if you are holiday shopping for that weather enthusiast in your life, get them a weather station, the Tempest by Weatherflow weather station. So easy to install, even I could do it. And believe me, it was easy. And it mounts outside. You don't need to put it in anywhere special. And it runs right off your mobile device. Or if you want a display, you could order a display with it too. You'll be part of the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. The link for this is on the chat board tonight. It's also on the description of this podcast. And as we all know, Joe Rayo keeps that coupon code a secret, but he lets it out only when we're on the air. And that's what he's going to do right now.
I told my dog. Can you hear my dog in the
No.
back? You can't?
You told your
I can
dog
hear
the
him.
coupon code?
He's barking like crazy. Well, my dog was kind of like, you remember the Bush Bean commercials
Yes.
where the guy who invented Bush Beans, he told the dog the secret formula, and most of the commercials were to try to keep the dog's mouth shut. Anyway, I even if I told my dog what the code is, I don't think he'll tell anybody. I will tell it to all of you now. It is autumn 2025, and with that coupon code, you can go to Tempest and say, "Hey, autumn 2025, give me my 10% off," and that's what you will get: 10% off anything with the coupon code from Tempest.
So the folks in astronomy land had a really super show last night. They saw it here in North Georgia. I live on the side of a mountain surrounded by woods, so I really do not get a view of the sky, even though I have no light pollution where I am, which is good. But one of the local area storm chasers here, Brandon Montgomery, went up to Lake Nottely, which is basically on the top of one of the higher peaks, and got some fantastic pictures. They're running all over the place on Facebook. I didn't. I should have messaged him. I always like to ask permission to use it, so I don't want to just pull them. But if you go to go to Brandon Montgomery, you'll find some very, very exciting pictures of last night's aurora show.
Well, the interesting thing is that the auroras last night were caused by a whole bunch of small flares, M-class flares, and a couple of reasonably strong X flares, and the whole bundle of these flares combined. In fact, they called it the folks over at the Space Environment Center referred to it as a cannibal type of situation where one flare, one of the larger flares, kind of ate all the other smaller flares, and then all of the material came tumbling over into the Earth's magnetic field last night, producing a very dramatic display. They saw aurora, Joe. I mean, and normally the aurora, the northern lights, are confined up in Canada or Alaska or the far northern climes. This aurora last night was glimpsed all the way down as far south as El Salvador, latitude 13 degrees north of the equator.
Wow.
That is incredible that you would see an aurora that far south. Now, the interesting thing is that yesterday morning there was a flare on the sun, and we talked about it last night, an X5.1, which was bigger than any of the other flares that had occurred before it over the previous days. And that certainly looked like it was going to produce a major auroral display tonight. And it's still possible. We are under a G4 geomagnetic watch for the possibility of another major flare up of auroral activity. Hasn't happened yet, and the right now the folks over at the Space Weather Prediction Center are giving a 50-50 chance for us to see another or to see a repeat of what we had last night. The problem with something like this is you cannot assign a specific time. You cannot say, all right, if you go out at 9:15 tonight, you'll be able to see the spectacular. No, it doesn't work like an eclipse. Unfortunately, these things are kind of free flowing. They ebb, they
Yeah.
flow, and what you're going to have to do if you really want to see a repeat of last night, if it does occur, is to just go outside, look to the north, frequently check the sky all through the course of the night, because you never know when one of these events just suddenly flares up and makes for a spectacular sight. I wish I could tell you a specific time, but I can't. But the potential for a major auroral display is out there again tonight. It's just a matter of you being outside in the right place and at the right time, and hopefully you'll have a chance to see it. I know Miss Spallerite on the chat board was just noting what a spectacular view she had from her location in the nation's midsection, saying the skies were clear and the aurora was spectacular and it was beautiful. And I didn't get a chance to see anything because
And you
locally
got cloud cover.
I had cloud cover, but get this now. There were breaks in the clouds in parts of the Hudson Valley. People, through the holes in the clouds,
Right.
however small they were able to see
Oh,
some of
good.
the aurora. And Long Island. I lived on Long Island for like 15 and 16 years. I left Long Island to come up here to see the stars. People on Long Island last night were able to see the aurora. But that's the way it goes sometimes. And who knows? We'll have hopefully have another shot at seeing it overnight tonight.
Good. Good. Welcome to everybody on the chat board tonight. Welcome to those of you who are watching in the background on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. No changes in the schedule for this week. We'll be here tomorrow, and then we'll be off Friday and Saturday, which are usually our 2 days where we take a break, and then we'll be back Sunday at 7:35. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. And of course, if you like the show, hit the like button. So, just looking at the weather overall, aside from the fact that we had this big cold blast that came through, and now the worst of that is done. But it's going to be a struggle the next couple of days, really, to push temperatures higher because we're still in this northwest flow. In fact, there's a little slight reinforcement of chilly air that comes in tomorrow into Friday. And then we got a warm front, cold front combination that will bring some showers. I kind of thought there's a shot that the shower activity would be mostly on Saturday night and then move out during the first part of Sunday morning, and then weather conditions might improve after that for Sunday afternoon.
I'm thinking about that as well. I think that we hopefully will be able to hold off on the precipitation until after dark on Saturday. Then Saturday night we'll have some rain or shower activity, maybe a few showers spilling over into the early part of the morning on Sunday, then hopefully drying out. I'm not sure how much sunshine we're going to see in the afternoon, but at least I think we'll see some intervals of sun and drier weather and milder temperatures of the 2 weekend days, Joe. Unseasonably chilly weather for Saturday in the low to mid 40s here in the lower Hudson Valley, but we might make it to the mid 50s, which would feel real nice on Sunday. Although, along with the milder temperatures, I think we're also going to see an increase in the wind on
Right.
Sunday as well.
Then it gets cold again. I mean, not crazy cold like we just saw to that extent, but it is going to get colder for the start of next week. Joseph Carr, thank you so much for hitting the tip jar tonight. It is most appreciated. I think you hit it the other night, and I forgot to say thank you. So double thank you for that. So on that note, let's see what's going on. Weather actually around the country, for the most part, is on the quiet side. There's a lack of storms on land. there's a storm system out in the off the coast of the Pacific, and if you look at the watches in the mornings, that purple, those are all storm warnings that are up for winds of 50 knots or higher. A lot of wind advisories up and down California, as well as parts of Nevada and Oregon. And we've got winter storm warnings and winter storm and winter weather advisories up for the Sierra Nevadas. And on the east side of those mountains, also a slew of flash flood watches that are up as well. But in the east, it's done. There are no additional, we're done with freeze warnings and frost advisories pretty much for the entire eastern half of the United States. I mean, the few places that hadn't seen uh, frosts or freezes got totally wiped out with this one, with freezing temperatures getting all the way down into northern Florida. So this cold air mass was certainly extensive. And here's what's going on the surface tonight. This is the 4 o'clock plot from the Weather Service from WPC. And you can see there's a cold front to our west, down through western New York, extending south into West Virginia and Kentucky. When you look at the temperatures behind the cold front, they're generally in the 30s and 40s. Actually, more, not that many 30s. It's mostly 40s with the air behind the front. So it's kind of the same in terms of what that front is bringing. The same on one side, the same on the other. So it really isn't much of a cold front, really. And then out in the west, you can see there's a storminess off the west coast. There's energy there in off of southwestern Canada, extending right down west of California and west of Oregon, with a couple of weather fronts being analyzed there. So that's going to be moving its way eastward, and that's where all the moisture seems to be piling up at the time. Meanwhile, it's a stream of clouds from north of Lake Superior, southeastward through northern Pennsylvania and New Jersey. If you go to southern New Jersey and point southward and westward into the Ohio and Tennessee Valley and up and down the Mississippi River Valley to almost to the Rockies, Joe, it's mostly clear. So if the Northern Lights are going to put on a show tonight, a lot of people are going to be able to see it, looking at what the satellite loop is. But it's problematic in the Northeast with this northwest flow and these little ripples that are moving along with this cloud cover.
Well, we had a warm front that apparently was moving into and through our area during the mid and late afternoon. Mrs. Rayo, who was out there doing some raking, I was doing some raking too. I, the two of us were out there, but I went back inside to do something, and she's out there, and all of a sudden, a little, I'm not going to say it was a downpour, but all of a sudden it just started raining. And it was raining at a pretty steady pace. And apparently that was the warm front that was moving on through. Now we have to wait for that cold front that is out in western Pennsylvania. I think the cold front ultimately is going to help to clear the skies, but that'll be in the after midnight hours tonight. And that should set the stage for, again, hopefully a clear sky so that people, if the northern lights do flare up after midnight, then at least we here in the Northeast, or at least in the tri-state area, will have a chance to see it. Tomorrow, a classic example of self-destruct sunshine. Probably will start off bright and sunny in the morning, but then during the midday and afternoon, there's still enough atmospheric instability around to help to build a lot of cloud cover. I don't think we're going to see any precip come out of those clouds tomorrow, but if you want sunshine, I think the best part of the day tomorrow to see it will be early in the day before the clouds take over again in the midday and the afternoon. Friday looks like a pretty bright day with some sun and clouds. And as we just pointed out, Joe, Saturday looks dry, and then wet weather for Saturday night into perhaps the early part of Sunday. Chilly on Saturday, milder and windier on Sunday.
And a little area of light rain. It's probably mostly aloft that's moving off the New Jersey coast and just south of the South Shore of Long Island. It's a bit more active and reaching the ground in parts of western New York and western Pennsylvania and also into northern New York. You can see the streaks coming off Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, and then it goes over to snow as you go far enough north up on the Canada side, and it's all sliding to the southeast. And we're starting to see areas of rain coming in to California and also into parts of Oregon and Washington State. And again, a light precip from Southern California northeastward into uh, western Colorado and up into Wyoming and Montana, kind of patchy. But all of this looks like it's a loft. None of it seems to be reaching the ground at the moment. Now, as far as rainfall, well, as far as precipitation is concerned, I got to get in the habit of saying precipitation. When you melt it all down, we're looking at basically up and down the coastal plain from Maine to Virginia. It's mostly a quarter of an inch or less over the next 7 days. Little dots here and there. Eastern Maine, about a half inch. More in upstate New York, more in western New York, western Pennsylvania, as well as Vermont, New Hampshire, and then on the Canada side in eastern Canada. And then it kind of snakes its way down to the lower Ohio and into the Tennessee Valley, where you're getting anywhere from a quarter to a half, and then a half to three quarters in Arkansas and northeast Texas. But the big rains in California, I mean, up and down, including Southern California, uh, 2 to 3 inch rainfalls from San Diego to San Francisco, kind of tails a little bit off there and then picks up again further north, and then again up into western half of Washington state. So that's all that Pacific moisture. They're just sort of on the edge of the ridge that's between the two troughs, one on one coast and the other one just off the west coast. So there's our little they're low offshore for Sunday. I'm going to back it up here so you can take a look at what's going on now. And you've got northwest isobars from central Canada to the mid Atlantic coast. And the gradient is not super tight, but it's tight enough that winds are going to be somewhat busy again tomorrow and on Friday. There's some instability shower activity that the European picks up on during Thursday afternoon in some inland spots. I didn't put a mention in there. I'll see what it looks like tomorrow morning when I post my outlook. Uh, for now, I left it out for the coastal plain, but you don't have to go that far inland that maybe there could be a shower or two, a sprinkle or two. It's not going to amount to much. And meanwhile, in the west, you can see there's a wrapped up low on the right there on the European. It's a 992-ish low. That's off the coast of northwest California and western Oregon, and hence the storm warnings for the coastal waters. And we're bringing arms of rain into California and also up into Washington and Oregon. It's too warm in the west for snow, believe it or not, with record highs being set in parts of Colorado, for example. So Maggie P said she got to 75 today. And you can see there is some snow going on in southwest Canada as well as in parts of eastern Canada, which just got hit from the previous storm system with some substantial snows in much of the area from the St. Lawrence River Valley north and west. So this next system, uh, again, warm front approaches, get some showers Saturday evening, and then the cold front comes in right behind it. I mean, it's already through by 7 a.m. and out, and then the wind gets going. And there's some colder air, but I think during the day on Sunday, you won't feel it too much. But Sunday night into Monday morning, it's going to be colder. We'll be back to 30s, and then by night and 40s by day in the Northeast and Northern Mid Atlantic states for Monday. And then later next week, there's something that breaks away from all of this action that's coming into California with another arm of big rains over the weekend and on Monday. And a piece of that breaks eastward and just kind of fades as it makes its way into southern Pennsylvania and Virginia. And there's another high that comes down from Lake Superior. So that'll build in. And then we've got something uh, along about late next week. It looks like maybe a wrapped up low that eventually comes out of Kansas and goes to the Western Lakes with a cold front for next week, not this coming weekend, but next weekend. But bottom line is, in all of this, at least for the East, really no major precipitation events to worry about.
Right. We're not saying that it's going to be bone dry, but whatever we do see probably will be in the form of just some light rain or showers. I don't expect we'll be looking at any, let's say, 2 to 4 or 3 to 5 inch rainfall amounts with any one singular system. I'm sharing right now, Joe, the CPC, the Climate Prediction Center's temperature outlook for the next 6 to 10 days, which I found interesting. And we'll also look at the precipitation outlook and also the 8 to 14 day outlook, because now we're coming up on, at least in terms of probabilities, what we might expect to see for Thanksgiving. The 6 to 10 day temperature outlook, as you can see, I'd say about 60 or 65% of the country, two-thirds of the country, are going to be looking at probabilities of above normal temperatures. And this runs from the Great Lakes and down through the Plain States and into the Gulf coastal states. Near normal or typical November temperatures are anticipated from the 18th through the 22nd of November in the Northeast, most notably the tri-state area. Let me zoom in quickly on that. And you can see that near normal for eastern Pennsylvania, much of New Jersey, most of New York State, save for the western end, which will have a slight probability for above normal temperatures, and all of New England. The places that are going to be colder than normal will likely be, whoops, I just lost that. Let me just bring it back here. Will be out of the west. West of the Continental Divide, west of the Rocky Mountains, you find that temperatures will be averaging near to below normal, especially over southern sections of California, Nevada, and western sections of Arizona. As far as precipitation is concerned, we just said that we don't expect anything to get out of hand here in our neck of the woods, here in the Northeast. And in fact, you can see closing in here on this view, near normal to even below normal across portions of Maine, and slightly above normal precip expected across parts of Long Island, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and central and western New York, including the New York tri-state area. Now, if we take a look at the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, this again is from the Climate Prediction Center. Now, remember, this year, Thanksgiving is going to come a bit late, not as late as it can come. That would be the 28th. This year, Thanksgiving is on November the 27th. This outlook, this probability outlook, takes you all the way up to Thanksgiving Eve, the 26th. And as you can see, if the CPC is correct, an even larger sector of the nation, I'd say something like 70 or 75%, are going to be seeing above normal, or at least the probability for above normal. And let's see, wait a minute, give 1 second here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let's see, that would mean 1, 2, 3, 4, likely 60 to 70% above normal in terms of temperature. Again, this would cover the 60 to 70% above normal. You would be in that area, Joe, as well as part of South Carolina and all of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, southeastern Texas, Florida Peninsula. All of these places will be probably enjoying an above normal temperature for probably for Thanksgiving. Same here up here, although not quite as high in the probability department. And the coldest weather will again be out in the western third of the nation, where you'll have below normal, especially so again over southern California, southern Nevada, and western sections of Arizona. Precipitation wise, well, it looks like quite a bit of precip expected over the southern and central United States. We are getting just into the area above normal precip values here in the Northeast, near normal, right along the immediate coast from the Carolina coastline, going all the way down to Florida, also near normal, right along the Pacific coast of Washington, Oregon, and northern sections of California. And one other thing we want to take a look at, the hazards outlook. No hazards, nothing in terms of above normal or exceptionally below normal temperatures for the period from November 20th through the 26th. No hazards are posted there. How about rain? Well, in terms of precipitation, now this looks interesting. There's a slight risk of heavy precipitation in this region encompassing eastern and central Texas, a good part of Oklahoma, going all the way up to just about the lower Great Lakes and then down across your zone, Joe, into Georgia and to the portion of the covers eastern Texas, Arkansas, southern Missouri, western Kentucky, southern sections of Illinois, and then down across Mississippi and a slice of northern and western Alabama. So, and that would be for November the 20th. So that would be a week from tomorrow. The expectation would be for heavy amounts of precip down here. Meanwhile, the rest of there's a slight risk over in the southwestern United States, the Arizona, New Mexico area. So you can see that there are areas of heavy precipitation that may be coming our way sometime next week. In terms of snow, that is being confined to the Rockies. Here, there's a risk, slight as it will be, from the 20th through the 26th for snow in this zone. So maybe for some of these folks out here in Utah and Wyoming and Colorado, portions of Arizona and New Mexico on up to Idaho and western Montana, maybe, just maybe in this zone, it'll be over the river and through the woods to Grandma's house for Thanksgiving Day on a sleigh. We'll see if that does pan out. Wind, that's the last hazard to talk about. Slight risk over the central and southern United States and also across a good swath of the western states, the plains and the Rockies. Nothing of that nature, though, here in the Northeast. So we're pretty much free of any significant rain, snow, wind, or unusual temperature ranges, at least it would appear in our part of our neck of the woods over the next 1 to 2 weeks.
Okay, let's do some Briller Jeopardy, shall we?
And you have Briller Jeopardy tonight,
I
I believe.
knew, I knew. And
Yeah.
we were doing from yesterday, we started with the biggest 24-hour snowfalls in each state. Okay, so we're up to the state of Colorado. Colorado, the biggest 24-hour snowfall.
Well, Colorado is in the Rockies, and there could be, an enormous amount of snow in one singular day for a part of. I'm going to say, we had some places, some states yesterday. We were talking about like 60 inches up in Alaska. I don't think quite that much, but I'll say 50 inches. I see a lot of people on the chat board saying 72 inches for Michael McGuire. Joseph Gaffney, are you serious? 144 inches in one day? I don't think so.
The
But
70, the 72 is closer than your 55.
okay.
I'll just put it that way. Actually, no, I take that back. I did the math wrong. You're actually closer, but you're not high enough at the 63. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so I'm sorry, I just gave it away. It's 63.
It gave it away.
I just gave it away. All right, let's go to Connecticut.
Well, Connecticut, yeah, we,
Wow.
we remember we remember the blizzard of '78, and right near to Connecticut, Rhode Island had something like 55 inches with that storm. I don't think Connecticut saw that much, but I will say I'm going to say I'll say 35.
Okay, I am going to uh, re, what do they call it? Request a review because I think this number that was given is too low. Um, but anyway, seeing what people are putting up on the chat board, you're all too high. But the number that Scott gives is for Middletown, Connecticut was 28 inches. But I think that's not correct. Because just on the 2013 storm alone, there was a big area in Connecticut that got 36 inches plus. So I'm going to protest that number. Let's put it that way. Let's go to Delaware. Delaware.
Well, I know that, for example, in Washington D.C., the Knickerbocker storm in the 1920s, and also the President's Day storm in 1979. Both dumped something like 25 to 30 inches. I don't see any reason why Delaware would not be in that same category, so I'll go for the higher number. I'll say 30 inches.
30. Close, but a little too high. Miss Fallerite got it with 28. And then a few of the others got it within one at 27 and 29. But 28 is the answer. Now the next one.
Wait a minute. Before you get to the next one, I just went on Google and asked the question about heaviest one day snowfall in Connecticut.
Mhm.
And from what I have here, what Google came up with, 36 inches recorded near Ansonia, Connecticut on February 8th and 9th, 2013, during the blizzard of 2013.
There you go.
And that broke the previous record of 30 inches that was set in Falls Village, Connecticut on February 10th, 1969. That was the 69 storm was the Lindsay's snowstorm. So 30 inches in 69. And as you mentioned, Joe, I mean, the 2013 storm did dump quite a bit more snow, 36 inches near Ansonia.
Now the next one is Florida, and I'm going to protest this one too, because as I recall, what sticks in my mind is that from the storm last February, uh, broke all-time records for snowfall in Florida. One time,
Probably
snowing,
Tallahassee, right?
or Pensacola,
Or
either one.
Pensacola, too. Yeah.
The prior record might have been this one, which was Milton, Florida, at 4 inches. But I'll give everybody a chance to try to guess a number for Pensacola. I believe we'll give it a range. So those of you who are saying anywhere between 8 and 10, um, you're pretty much correct. And the
I
chair
think
is Scott
I think we
Burns. Is
should get
my info's coming from NOAA. I think they lost their job. Sorry. Well, um, it's possible that some of the NOAA data hasn't been up. It really is possible that some of the NOAA data from this past year hasn't been updated. So uh, it's not your fault, clearly. But anyway, because
but he's a good sport. He was a good
yeah,
sport because he also hit the tip jar. So thank you very
yes, and
much.
thank you for hitting the tip jar, Scott. But yeah, I remember with that storm system and talking about the fact that it was like the biggest one day snowfall of all time in the state of Florida. And Pensacola got 8 to 10 out of that. I don't know what Tallahassee got, but Pensacola got 8 to 10. And the last one tonight is my state, my home state now, Georgia.
Well, you guys, I mean, like where you are, for example, 2,200 feet above sea level, if you have just the right mix of cold air and just the right kind of storm track to your south and east, I wouldn't be surprised if you could pick up where you are, Joe, over a foot of snow. And
Oh
maybe it
yeah,
has happened in the
it
past.
can happen. It has happened. It hasn't happened while I've been here, but it has happened before.
How about 18 inches?
Oh God, Joe, so close, so close. And Rothmansky is close the other way with 20. So you can figure out what the answer is, folks. It's 19, and it was in Cedartown, Georgia, which I have absolutely no clue where that is. So there are a lot of counties in this state and a lot of small towns. I've learned that. Um, a ton of small towns. So let me see where Cedartown is. Uh,
Oh, Cedar makes your life easier.
yes, exactly. Cedartown, Georgia. It's in. Let me widen this out. It's in Polk County, which is nowhere near me, from what I can see. Okay, so Cedartown is actually west of Atlanta by not too many miles. But you know what? I'm going to say, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I got to think that up here in the mountains, where it's probably measured by locals, but not by any, National Weather Service station or weather observer, that um, there are some, amounts at least of that much in the past. I know that you talk to people around here about the blizzard of the 1992, the superstorm in what is it, March of '93? March of '93 for that?
Yes,
Yeah.
March 12th to
They'll
14th.
tell
Yes.
you that there was 3 feet of snow on the ground. So, there might be a little bit of southern exaggeration in there, but uh, I bet you, I bet you that 19 is probably too low. But again, that's me. So there you go. Okay. Ruben Fairchild is still on the chat board because he was talking about, okay, decorating for the holiday. If you watched the show last night, Ruben, I had the tree up there and my train set. So just for you, since you clearly missed the show, and for anybody who wasn't here last night, I will gladly put up. Now I did a little bit of adjusting because I was having some problems. So I changed to one of my New York Central freighter, and there we go. Now I want to point something out, Joe. All right,
Yeah.
there's a couple of things wrong with this. Okay, I'll let you look at it again, see if you can. There's two specific things that are wrong. Okay. Well, one thing
I like
that's
the
wrong
fact
is
I,
that
I, I
rug. I
like
got to get a new rug.
I like the fact that you have the train with the silhouette of the people at the window.
Yes.
I had a train set like that many years ago. I love
Yeah.
that. That was
I actually I've
uh,
had this set. Uh, I don't know. I've had this set for about 10 years, and I think this is the first time I've used it. Believe it or not. Um, but no, if you caught this, there are a couple of things. First of all, I have next to a church. I have two Exxon refinery oil tanks. Okay. All right. And the other thing was, if you noticed on the train, it's a freight train with passenger cars, and then it has the freight behind it. Now that's not unusual. Okay. That's not that unusual, especially years ago in these, a lot of these small towns. But um on and I tried to do this, but I couldn't get the car to stay on the track because my tracks are old and I had to clean them and all the rest of it. But there's a passenger. It's there are two passenger cars there, and right behind it, Joe, is uh, an oil and gas mobile car, mobile oil and gas car, and behind the mobile oil and gas car is a poultry car carrying chickens.
that's an
So
interesting mixture.
yeah, it is. Uh, So yeah, so if there ever was a derailment, you could probably wind up with a big fire and all the chickens roasted. So everybody be have one big barbecue. So there you go. All right, so we are done here on this Wednesday.
Is the Christopedia wants to know is the gas bag the conductor?
You know what? You never know, but you know something? Inside the poultry car, okay, when you swing the door open, there's a building that you would put on the tracks and you would attach it to it. There's a guy that comes out with a broom and sweeps it. So maybe he's the gas bag to sweep out the chicken poo poo. Anyway, that again, that's my never be humble opinion, of course. On that note, we shall say good night. And we shall be back tomorrow at 7:35 p.m. to finish off the work week. So everybody have a great night. Say good night, Joe. Up, Joe froze. Good night.